Good morning, Smarket Nom. That's right. We're back. Total Spot Fest. Awesome show for you. We got tons and tons and tons of news. People coming back, people showing up at new places, and a bad blow for the Dark Order. This is Total Spot Fest.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome back to Total Spot Fest. I am JJ Brownlee. He is Jamie Faulkner. We are back with your regularly scheduled program. We got off track there on a couple weeks there with AEW doing crazy things, but we're finally back in order. Not the Dark Order, unfortunately. We'll talk about that in a second here. But thank you guys for joining us. We do appreciate it. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a comment down below. Give us a like and a subscribe if you don't mind. It does help us out quite a bit. If you're on YouTube, if you're listening to us not on YouTube, you want to get in touch with us, just give us a holler on Twitter at Total Spot Fest. You want to talk to me or Jamie specifically, I am at JMoney1536. He is at JFaulkner56. That is the communication standards. And this is Total Spot Fest. Let's go. Jamie, how you doing, man? How was your weekend?
I had a pretty fun fourth. I still have all of my fingers and toes.
Got your digits. Yeah,
So,
keep your digits on there.
Feeling pretty good about that. No, it was actually pretty good. It was hot here in the Midwest, but it was good. I had a lot of fun, and the wife had me busy, so that's what we do.
You get an extra day out, extra day at home. That's kind of what happens,
Yeah.
Wife and the 4 daughters are going to keep your ass busy. So
Faux show.
I was not busy because it was just me by myself here, and I didn't even because I've been a little sore. I had a little fall, so I jacked up my ribs. So I'm kind of just laying low at home, and every once in a while you just need that. It's like I just need to just rest. So I did that all weekend. I mean, I think I spent Saturday in my underwear, just that all day. I was like, I didn't even go outside. I might have gone outside. I did. I went outside to get the mail. That was literally it.
Oh wow, I'm jealous.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and but it was hot, nice, calm 4th of July. I just spent a lot of time watching wrestling. Surprise over the weekend. Wrestling in the Tour de France, but it's real cool because we've talked a lot, and those of you who are regular listeners know that we're big on our local promotion, Journey Pro Wrestling.
Very big.
We're doing a giveaway for tickets. We have 2 tickets, which is, by the way, it's still open. So we are still doing that giveaway. Episode 43. I'll link it down in the description here on YouTube. If you're listening to us, just go to our YouTube channel. That's Total Spot Fest Wrestling Podcast. Check out episode 43. It's real simple. Watch that episode, give it a like, give us a subscribe, and then leave a comment about what your favorite promo of all time is. You'd be entered in to win tickets. That's going on through next Sunday, the 11th. So on Monday, we will pick the winners. And they will get 2 tickets to the July 30th show, 78 weeks later, plus a round of drinks on us.
Yes, at least one.
Alcoholic or non, either or.
Yes, because they have coffee, because it's at Blip Roasters.
It's at a coffee roaster's place. So yeah. I swear, I know because I opened up that door. I know the person's they're gonna order like one of those like $35 like 12-shot espresso monster or whatever.
Hey,
things.
Whatever.
Well, we said it. But anyway,
One in row.
it's still open. Pretty simple. Like I said, I'll put it down below. But for those of you who do not know, Journey Pro has a fantastic Twitch channel, which is actually a partneration. It was in partneration. I'm making words now. I don't know what I'm doing.
That's a word.
Which is in partnership with our friends from across the state here in Missouri, over at St. Louis Anarchy. It's Journey to Anarchy is the Twitch channel. This past Friday, I was treated to, and I said I didn't do jack this weekend, so I got off work, did a little happy hour virtually with a couple buddies, and then made myself a pizza, and I was sitting there, I was gonna just watch some TV, and I was like, on Twitter, like, hey, so I go to Twitch, they were re-showing the Jeremy Wyatt versus
Gary J.
Gateway Championship from Journey Pro's December 2019 Die Hard's Christmas movie event. The hour-long unbelievable match. I saw us on there a few times. I grabbed a few screenshots of us just for good measure, by the way.
Nice.
It was a total banger. It was a great time. Spent an hour and a half on there chatting with several wrestling fans, some local, some not. There was a dude on there from Iowa, from Des Moines, apparently, who's coming down to the show.
That's awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And there was Journey, and I was chatting it up with one of the guys from Journey Pro the whole time, too. Got a little juicy information for you, for one. So he said on the show, so if you're a fan of good independent wrestling and you want more free content, it's free. It's like you don't have to be a paid subscriber to theirs or anything. You just gotta subscribe to their Twitch channel, make a Twitch account, subscribe to their Twitch channel, and then every Friday they show stuff, and then they have other things that they show. If you can't make it to Journey Pro shows, you can watch it free on their Twitch. This coming Friday, you can watch, and I'm going to, St. Louis Anarchy's show, Circus Maximus 16, free on their Twitch.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Fantastic. Just another way to get that content out there for good local wrestling, and anybody in the world can watch it. So it's great stuff.
Is that the juicy stuff?
The juicy stuff is, I don't know how juicy this is, but I don't know which one of the guys it was that was chatting on the during the show, but they said that they got a new canvas for their ring for their comeback. It's an old, like late 80s, early 90s WWE used ring mat, the canvas.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know. It's like he said we're gonna have to play, like we're gonna have to do like drink tickets for like guess the bronzer stain or something like that.
Oh, that would be awesome.
And I'm like, yes, please. I am in. I am all
so
about it.
in. Yes.
So
so
that was the juicy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they said they got a lot of things cooking. He didn't tip his hat, too much. But there's some big stuff they've been doing. They've been he was talking more. Because a couple of guys said, not everybody was like a local person. There's some guy from Ohio. There was a dude from Iowa. Some other people from wherever. And he kept saying, talking about how they got big plans. They have ideas. They've been working on things about growing Journey Pro's reach outside of just being Kansas City and moving it into a larger sphere.
Region. Yeah. Making an actual region.
Yeah, an actual region sort of thing. And so I don't know what that entails necessarily, but they said they are definitely got some things working, some irons in the fire that hopefully in the next, several months, there'll be some really cool announcements they can make. So I'm super stoked about it. He also mentioned that for a moment there, they thought about buying Kansas Hall.
Oh.
But if they were going to do that, because Kansas Hall is the place where they had it. It was in this little, for those of you not familiar, so there's a place over in Overland Park. It's a strip mall, big strip mall area. It's a big shop. It's a huge, like, corner of, like, all sorts of shopping and stuff, right? All sorts of stuff. So it's a big strip mall there. And there was, like, 6 bar concepts, like, all tied together. At one point in time, it was just one giant bar, and I've been there when it was just fuel. It was just massive, huge bar, and it was so huge. Mm-hmm. It really got like one night of business a week, and it was just like a waste of space. So they broke it up into like a bunch of little concepts. One of them was this like event hall, Kansas Hall. So he said we actually looked into that to actually buy it because it was a great place for a wrestling event and other sort of same type of events too would have been too.
Absolutely.
But they only could have got it if they had bought all the bar concepts. And I'm like, nah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, post-pandemic, buy 6 bars. That's a bit much,
100%.
1,
yeah.
Cool. 6, not so much. But anywho, so those are the juicy bits of info he said. And I recommend, hey, if you guys got nothing going on Friday nights or you want something a little different, hop on their Twitch. It's fantastic.
So speaking of our good friends at Journey Pro, we have got a complete card for 78 weeks later now.
All right, do that. Why don't you go ahead and do that, and then I'll talk about Circus Maximus for a hot second.
Okay. So we've already announced Kenny Alfonso versus Devin Thomas, Anaya versus Gary fucking J. We've done Everett Connors versus Mike Seidel, Thumbs and Buns versus the Premier.
Right.
And then we've also done JJ Garrett against Cole Riddick, Christian Rose versus Hoodie Howlett, and Graham Bell one called Manders versus Jeremy Wyatt in a triple threat. Well, they have since added 2 more matches. Another triple threat. Usually they start with a 6-pack challenge, so this was kind of different because that's always their opening match. You know, it's like a 6-pack thing.
Yeah, a lot of times. Yeah.
But this one's just another triple threat at this point of Luke Langley, Sam Beal versus Dallas Cade.
Yeah.
So Luke Langley.
Sam Beal's on Impact Wrestling right now, if those of you who are not aware.
So Luke Langley was the former tag team partner of Mike Seidel of the Enlightenment.
Okay. Yes. There we go.
Now
I
he's doing
got
some
it.
eye patch thing. I don't know. But hey, whatever.
I didn't really. I did. I kind of something, but I didn't really recognize. Okay, I got it now. Then and then Sam Beal, like I said, is on. He's in a thing. He's the young boy to Brian Myers right now on Impact.
Oh, that's perfect.
It's great. It's really great. And Dallas Cade's our local guy who rocker. We love him.
Yes,
He's
we do.
great.
And then finally, they added a women's match, and no, it does not have Marty Bell, and no, it does not have Lady Luck. So I was a little upset about that, but you know what? I'm cool with seeing some new talent that I might enjoy and don't know nothing about.
I'm all about new stuff.
Because they got tons of new people, actually. They have, what they say, 12 people making their Journey Pro debuts.
Something like that, yeah.
Something crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we have Seishin, who we've seen. She actually busted Lady Luck's nose the very first night we were there.
Yeah, I did see that.
The very first show we ever went to, versus Kayla Cassidy. Don't know who she is either. So
Okay.
I have tried to do some research and failed miserably. So if anybody knows about Kayla Cassidy, please let me know, because I'm a big fan of the women's wrestling, as we all know. Not in that creepy stalkery way, but actually I appreciate it. So if anybody knows anything, just drop a link on that one. So
So is that the final card?
That
Is
is
there
the
a potential? Okay.
As far as I
Well,
know, that's it. They said that 9 matches. We have 9 matches.
Okay. Well, and we're going to be having, like I said, coming up here in the next week or so, we're going to have an interview with one of the guys from Journey Pro.
Yes.
So we'll get some more insight and thoughts from them about stuff. You know, I think 9 matches, that's a loaded card. Generally, they go about 3-4 hour shows. Usually they have some time restrictions depending on what night they did it at Kansas Hall. Because there's some nights they had to be done by a certain time because there was a thing that was booked on. I think it was like Friday. Was it Saturday?
No,
Friday
they
nights?
did them on Thursday nights.
Thursday nights.
It was always Thursday
Yeah,
nights.
they did, but they did it once on Friday, and that's why they had to. Because Friday night at 11, 10 o'clock, they had to be done because there was something else booked for like late night. Anyway, so 4 hours, give or take, is probably what the show will be. In nine matches, that's good. That's good. So
yeah, I can't wait. July 30th cannot come soon enough for me.
Oh, excited for it. Well, if you want even more local wrestling action, you don't have to wait till July 30th. So, like I said, this Friday, the 9th of July, is Circus Maximus 16. It is St. Louis Anarchy's return show.
Awesome.
It's happening at the the Oaks or the that's one of those Oaks Lounge or Oaks. I'm not saying that right at all.
Yeah.
I think
Some kind of tree.
no, it's not that tree. It's like the it's like the VFW, but not the VFW. Anyway,
Elks Lodge.
Elks. There we
Elks.
go. Elks Lodge. That's what I was trying to say. Oaks. See, I don't. This is what, I swear I haven't been drinking all weekend. That's a lie. But no, at the Elks Lodge, just across the river in Illinois, there in St. Louis area. So you can't make it. You live out of state. You can't get away. Watch it on. I'm watching on Twitch. So that's twitch.com/journey2anarchy. Their card is pretty effing loaded. So I could find all but one, and I will give one gripe here. St. Louis Anarchy, we love you. You're great. Your website sucks. Just saying.
Fair.
It's terrible. It's bad. So I went to your Twitter to look up the full card, and I found it mostly. I had to dig through like video announcements, and they didn't have like big place cards like Journey Pro does. Made it easy, you know.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like anyway. whatever. The card is great. Your main event, of course, the reason that they showed on Twitch stream last Friday the Die Hard's Christmas movie match between Gary and Jeremy is because they had the return finally. It was supposed to happen in March of 2020. It was supposed to be the return match because the match ended in a no decision. They reached the time limit and boom, and it was a banger. So they're having the return match finally for the Gateway Championship. The defending champion, Mr. Jeremy Wyatt, almost 700 days as champion. Yeah, Jeremy Wyatt versus Gary fucking J. Oh, love me some Gary J. Gary's got a new T-shirt that I'll show you later. If you haven't seen it, go to fullygimmicked.com. You can buy Gary J T-shirts. Highly recommend it. Then you have Everett Connors, who we will see on the 30th. He's going off against Davey Richards, currently at MLW from Impact's The Wolves fame, or the American Wolves all over the place, But in Impact, they were the Wolves. And he looks great. So that's going to be awesome. Warhorse.
Yeah.
MF and motherfucking MF and Warhorse versus Derek Neal, who I've seen a little bit of. He's wrestled in Southern Promotions primarily.
Okay.
He's just a savage beast of a man. So that's going to be an awesome match. Then you got the Premier, who are currently the 0-1 USA Tag Champs. 0-1, are you familiar with them, Jamie?
No.
0-1's a Northeast promotion. So there's I can't remember, but I know the women's champ. She's done a little bit through Mission Pro and some other things before. You would have recognized her, but they're the current tag champs. They're the Premier, is who they are. I'm not super familiar with them, but they're going to be defending those titles against the besties in the world.
Oh my God! Can we just drive to St. Louis on Friday?
I wish we could, but I can't. It's unfortunately this weekend's not good for me. So there are tickets still available. We'll talk about that tomorrow.
Okay.
Maybe you can convince me.
Okay, because the Premier is also the ones facing Thumbs and Buns.
Oh, okay. There we go. So we're gonna
So
see a lot of these people.
who's their women's champ? Is it Notorious Mimi?
I do not have them pulled up right here.
I'm just curious now. Now you got me on wheels of turning. If it's Notorious Mimi, that girl can go.
Oh, here we go. 01USA.com. Sky Blue. That's who it is.
Oh.
I knew her.
Oh, Sky Blue. Okay, she's been on AEW a couple times.
She has been on AEW a couple times.
And NWA.
And Victor, and their junior heavyweight champion is Victor Analog, who I know I've seen somewhere.
Victor Analog? That is a great name.
It is. Especially because his promotional picture has him with a belt in one hand and an old CRT monitor in the other hand. That's great.
Yeah.
That's continuity, folks.
Yep.
That's fantastic. Okay, anyway, so you got that for the Take Challenge. By the way, Bestie's got a new T-shirt I'm going to show you later. It's fantastic.
Is it on Gimmicks or is it on PWT?
I don't know if it's on Gimmicks. I just saw it on their Twitter. So then you got a mixed tag match. Christian Rose, who we'll see, versus Angelus Lane taking on Billy Starks and Evangelistico, who is more famously for us known as the inventor of the buddy system.
Oh, it's Buddy. I'm not your buddy, guy.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's so good.
That's an ongoing running joke we'll tell you about later. But anyway, so mixed tag match going there. Then you got it's like you gotta put some meat on the bones, right? You gotta have a big old bruiser match. Well, they got Beef versus Moonshine. And I'm not familiar with either one of these guys, but I saw their promo video. It's just like it's a lot of man in the ring, basically running into each other. It's going to be one of those type of matches. Then Bastard Cassidy versus Aaron Williams, and Jake Dearden versus Thomas Shire. Those are guys who I'm not super familiar with, but they've been mainstays in Anarchy for a bit.
Well, Jake Dearden, he was in NWL. He was the Jake Foster guy.
Oh,
Always put
okay.
his hand out
Yes.
like this.
Yeah. I liked him.
I did too.
Okay,
I
that
did
makes
too.
that makes sense. He's got this interesting gimmick now. He's got this shirt where it's like kind of like half like Legion of Doom. This vest he wears half Legion of Doom, half like Forgotten Sons. It's kind of interesting. It's
Interesting.
Anyway, and then apparently there's one more match. I couldn't find it though. So, but that's the card that they have that I could decipher at least thus far for Circus Maximus 16. So, and they announced their next show is August 20th. So,
Oh, okay. That's not that far away.
keeping it rolling. They do like Journey Pro. It's the reason that them and Journey Pro really partnered up because they're very similar in a lot of ways, and they book same thing, monthly shows. So,
I'm in.
yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Friday night. I said we'll talk. Maybe we'll see what we got going. You have softball all weekend, don't you?
Not this weekend. I'm off.
Okay, well maybe we'll see about it. We'll see. Either way, as twitch.com/Journey to Anarchy, give them a watch. Highly recommend it.
Yes.
All right,
Man.
we'll be back with more info. Like I said, we've been talking with the guys from Journey Pro. We're gonna have an interview with one of them here coming soon before the pay-per-views. So stay tuned for that. But let's move and shift and let's talk about some of the bigger wrestling promotions that are out there. Let's talk about some news. Actually, let's talk about numbers.
Let's
Do you
do
have numbers
numbers
from everybody for the last week?
I do. I really
All right,
do.
let's do it.
All right, so our good friends over at WWE did not exactly have the best of weeks. They did not.
Shocking.
No. So we'll start with SmackDown because I'm saving Raw. So SmackDown did a 1.74 down from their 1.971. That's 200,000 people, folks.
That's
Gone.
that is a dip.
But they're not the biggest losers. Oh, no. Oh, no. Raw, our good friends over at the 3-hour monstrosity that does not have good content, known as Monday Night Raw, did a 1.57. And I'll repeat that again.
1.5 million.
1.57 million. That's down from the
Wow.
1.719 million.
I'm pretty sure that English Premier League games do better than that in America.
In America. Yeah, oh, for sure. Like,
Just saying.
I mean, if
you know.
Liverpool's on, I will watch. Just saying.
Well, good for you. I'm not a soccer guy, but 1.5. Wow, that is unbelievable.
Then
Well, it's not unbelievable, but it's just crazy to think of.
So then let's talk about AEW then. AEW finally moved back to Wednesday. They're finally
Good.
back. All right.
Oh yes. Oh, we're
So
happy.
on the Saturday show, they pulled a 649. And on their first Wednesday back, the first normal Wednesday, they pulled an 883.
There we go. That's
And
good.
it
That's
was
better.
a great show.
And it's not, we want to see them getting that consistently over 1 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
But hey, finally back on Wednesday, 883. That's the right, that's the right momentum there. In the summertime, I'll take it.
Yeah. And the heartbreaking number is Impact.
Oh God,
Impact did 111 2 weeks ago, and this week they only pulled 69,000, which typically is nice, but not today.
It is I have more notes on Impact. So 69,000 is the lowest number for an Impact Wrestling show since they've been on Access TV. 69,000 people, and they had Kenny Omega in their main event. Interesting. Now, it's reported that there was an issue through several TV providers. I don't have any specifics. It's just what the article's telling me here. Several TV providers had an issue with the listing. This affected people who DVR'd it because the number that they report includes both live and same-day viewers, people who watch the DVR that same day. So, what this is saying is that affected that is the reason why it was so far down.
I hope.
I don't know. I mean, I hear you. I understand that. I don't watch everything live myself,
Yeah.
but even at that, 69,000.
Ouch.
That's low. That's ouch.
Yeah. That's really bad.
So and we're 2 weeks away from Slammiversary. This is their build up. And I'm looking at their trends here. They always go on a crescendo going into pay-per-view. Every one of them. Mm-hmm. I can see this. Post pay-per-view, they go down. Post pay-per-view, they go down. Post pay-per is so. It to me makes a whole lot of no sense. I don't know.
I agree. So we'll see. Like, because I expect Slammiversary to be actually pretty damn good, just because of what they've been building up on it, and just what we've seen. But damn, 69,000.
Well, we'll see what happens. And we'll talk about Impact here in a few minutes. I do want to talk about last week's show. Before we get to that, let's talk about some news going around the wrestling world.
There's some good news around
so, so why don't you go ahead with the biggest news that happened this past week, Jamie?
Yeah, so on arguably one of the lowest nights in SmackDown's history, it did have a return of a fired superstar, which was kind of a surprise, but
I would say a surprising return. I would give it that designation.
So it was announced, and they are already going to be part of the Money in the Bank match. Zelina Vega is officially back. Thea Trinidad, Zelina Vega, is back in the WWE.
Yeah, it's surprising, but it's not.
And just makes me think all that much more about Tommy End / Aleister Black. Like, but they're separate units,
Well, he flat out he was on the Twitch. I say his Twitch. It's Theo's Twitch. Well, now it's his Twitch. Yeah, but he was on their Twitch on Sunday. I want to say maybe Saturday. I can't remember. Over this past weekend, he was on Twitch, and he said, I 100% am not going back to WWE right now, because the people asked him after Zelina, debuted. He's like, I 100% am not. I have no problem. I never say never. I would go back there one day, but right now I'm happy with where I'm at. I've made peace with this. I'm excited for where the future can take me. So,
and it's going to take him somewhere that's all out. Just saying.
Good on him. Yeah, absolutely. Good on him for one. But she's been reported being back there at the, she's behind the scenes. She was at the PC for weeks now, right? So it's not totally surprising, really, when you think about it. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, this is going to sound terrible. As the guy with no kids goes, it's that classic dad move of like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, good on you. Do what you got to do. That's fine. They need you. Shit. They need anybody. But, yeah. Speaking of needing people, they might be quelling that, because there has been more and more confirmed people from NXT who have been doing dark matches before Raw and SmackDown. Dark matches, which basically means they're doing the tapings for main event, which is still a thing. We didn't know this up to a few weeks ago, Jamie, and we were like, that's still happening?
Yeah, I didn't even know main event still existed.
It's apparently it does. I don't know where the hell it is, but it still exists. Anyway, so people who have been confirmed as being up there most recently are Odyssey Jones.
Who?
Sure. Ozzy Jones, he's Omari Palmer, a former college football player who signed in the same 2019 class that included Bronson Reed, Mia Yim. I don't know who the hell it is, but he apparently was doing it. He's not the big name. We know of Karrion Kross, though. Karrion Kross keeps doing them.
Yep.
He's definitely going. We speculated for sure after last week's
Bronson Reed losing to
at Impact, because Bronson Reed's been doing it too. Tony Storm, though, was up before SmackDown last week doing a match. So was Shotzi Blackheart.
And I want Tony there. Tony.
Okay. As much as it pains me to even say it like this, Tony Storm to me fits on the main roster better than a lot of the other women do.
Agreed.
In NXT. Now that she doesn't fit in NXT, but she kind of doesn't fit in NXT. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like fits.
She's got the main roster.
Yes.
Zing to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good or bad. I hate to say it like that, but yeah.
No, totally agree with that.
Mm-hmm. And this one surprised me too. But apparently, before last night's Raw broadcast, one of the people that was in a dark match was Tegan Knox. First match back.
Dude, she's the thing. She's the thing.
I saw more and more people say the same thing. So I'm with you on that. The battery spoiler,
The battery charger. Yes.
is probably her. So anyway,
She's
do your wild speculations now, people. You know, who's going to go? Who's going to get called up? Vince McMahon was at the PC last week. They increased security and everything. I don't know why. I know. It's like, seriously, you own this place. You own this place. Who cares, right? No, but anyway, yeah, he was at the PC doing like lots of evaluations. He keeps saying, and they keeps teasing this whole thing that the return to live crowds, return to the roads, going to open up all sorts of news. They've been wanting to do all this great stuff. They've been saving it for a year and a half. It's going out there. I don't fully believe that. I definitely don't believe that. But whatever. It's we'll see. I mean, maybe there's cool stuff coming. Like I said, we don't really watch the main products of WWE because they are so bad right now. But that doesn't mean we don't like the wrestlers that are there. And if they can get their stuff together and put together some decent plot lines, I'm all for it. You know? I enjoy wrestling in general. And if you're going to get a decent, fun to watch show, I will watch it. It's just the crap they've been putting out there has been terrible.
Yeah, it's not a good product. But I do have a little bit more WWE news if you want it.
Well, I've got more too, so let's keep it rolling. We'll keep talking about WWE. Let's do it.
So WWE, you know, they've been doing a lot of budget cuts lately, right? Yes.
Sure.
Air quote that shit. Hardcore budget cuts.
We getting ready to sell cuts, but yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, they just got approval for $39 million settlement in a class action lawsuit related to the Saudi Arabian business. So they just got $39 million, just like that. Budget cuts.
And remember, in 2020, they made more money than they ever made in their history. So,
yeah.
Whatever.
Budget cuts.
It's very interesting, the state of WWE right now. I mean, and you got like Zelina Vega, who, if you look her up her Twitter and you go back in time, around the time when she got fired, she got fired out of defiance. She said, F you, I'm not closing down my Twitch account. And they fired her to prove a point. And she tweeted out that I support unionization and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, that tweet is now gone from the internet.
Amazing.
At least from her view. She got back. So she company woman. I don't know. Whatever. It's a very interesting time in WWE. And if you want to hear more about it, I can suggest another podcast to you. This is one by one of Jamie's most favorite wrestlers of all time. It's the Talk is Jericho podcast. Because his most recent guest was CJ Perry. For those of you who don't know, that's Lana. And oh my God, Jamie, did you hear what she was spouted on the podcast?
Oh, she spilled some serious tea. Serious tea. Like everywhere.
Straight spitting fire. Apparently she go on, like she pulled back the curtain big time about how they're supposed to do the whole table spot with her and Nia Jax thing, and Roman apparently has got his hands a lot more in production of things than people expect. Roman Reigns didn't want it to happen because he had a table spot with Drew McIntyre that same night, and then there was pushback between like Nia Jax and Roman Reigns, and she was kind of caught in the middle, and she kept going on. So there's this whole chain of events that happened, right? And she's digging deep into them. But the one part that really got me, and if you guys haven't listened to it, go check it out. Go read like some people. I think Wrestling PW Insider. Everybody reported on it. They got all the big quotes out there. But go check out his podcast if you really want to hear it. But do you remember the match? And I can't remember which pay-per-view it was. It really wasn't a pay-per-view, but it was basically where it was. It was Survivor Series, and she was on the tag team match. Mm-hmm. Remember that? And she didn't wrestle at all in the match, but she got the win. She was the sole survivor just because she was left. And they basically kept putting her in the corner, and apparently Vince loved the shit out of that idea. He thought it was hilarious, and that's why it happened. And meanwhile, here's CJ, Lana, back in the back, literally, I'm not even being figurative here, literally bawling her eyes out, crying, and Natalia coming up to her and trying to console her, and she's like, "I just want to wrestle." And she goes, "But you win. Who cares? You're going to win the match." She goes, "No, I want to prove myself," because she'd been busting her ass, and everybody that talks about her, from T.J. Wilson on down the line, everybody that talks about her said that she busted her butt to be a better wrestler, and we never saw it because. What did they show her? Lana goes through a table. Lana goes through a table. Lana goes through a table.
She went through a table 9 consecutive weeks.
I know. That whole feud was highlighted by not Lana's wrestling ability, but ow, my hole.
Yes. Ow, my hole.
So she's bawling her eyes out, and, Natalia's trying to, Natalia's been in the business for a while. She knows this game. She knows the WWE game. I mean, shit. She's born into it, So she's hey, this is fine. This is good, whatever. She's like, no, I just want to wrestle. I don't care if I lose or if I'm not. I just want to this is what I've been trying to do. This is what I want to do. And yeah, no, Vince thought it was hilarious that she just kept getting put in the corner and then won by. So anyway, she spit some mad fire on WWE. I highly recommend checking it out.
Yeah, it was good. I listened to it. It was good.
So there's a bunch of different quotes out there you can read for it there. On a more positive note, I do want to give another congratulations out there. It seems to be like wrestling marriage season or something,
Yeah.
Seth Rollins and Becky just got married. Sami Callihan and Havoc just got engaged, and the longest reigning WWE NXT UK Women's Champion, that's a long title name, Kaylee Ray, just got married over this past week to her now husband, the indie wrestler over there across the pond, Stevie Boy Xavier. So, clap of the hands, congratulations to Kaylee Ray. Now, does that mean Kaylee Ray is gonna see some new things over in Europe? Because along with that was a new announcement for NXT UK. They have a new women's wrestler. This woman goes by the name of Blair Davenport. And if you know anything about wrestling, you know that that's actually the one, the only Bea Priestley.
I am very, very much looking forward to her because I loved her in AEW. Wish she never left, but because of everything that went on, they let her out of her contract. But she's going to NXT UK, and they're taking care of her, from what I understand.
They are they're giving her like supremely cushiony, cushion. So let's put it that way there. She's getting similar treatment that Walter got. Like, they bent over backwards to get Walter because Walter was the biggest, free agent in Europe, and they're doing even more. And it's obvious that the long play is that if they take care of her, they might have a shot one day to get Ospreay.
Yep.
I don't see Ospreay in the WWE. I really don't.
I see him in AEW if he ever
if
leaves.
anything. If he ever
I
leaves
think
New
his
Japan. Well, if he does leave, and the thing is, like, I could see him leaving New Japan, but the only reason I see him do that is if he tries to get Rev Pro really global. Rev Pro is his promotion that he started over in England. And so if he tries to go full Jeff Jarrett on it, and really blow it up to be, a large international, that's the only thing I could ever see him. But I think for the most part, crossover at best. But yeah, New Japan, I think, is Ospreay through and through.
Oh. God, I
Speaking
love
of Japan,
him.
I know he's so great. Apparently, the latest prognosis are not as bad.
Oh, that's good.
It's still a neck injury.
Yeah.
So it's still bad.
That's all we know. This is his neck.
So
Don't know
at the end of the day,
else.
it's still a neck injury, but it's not one of those, oh shit, you might never wrestle again. That's all that's not as much the talk anymore. So good news? I don't know.
I think it is. That sounds like good news to me.
What'd be good news is if we knew more about Maki Ito's future.
Maki Ito!
Maki Ito had a live stream this past weekend where she was online and it was reposted on Twitter, and she was talking about giving a shout out because she's #1 in sales at ProWrestlingTees.com. I can verify that because I do have a Maki Ito t-shirt coming to me very soon. I absolutely did order with their 4th of July promotion. You should have done the same, man. You should have done. You showed me that. You showed it on the podcast, for God's sake. I
did.
Oh, it's great. But anyway,
I'm excited about it. It did save 20%.
But it was 20% off. Yeah. So what's great is that she did this thing where she's #1 in sales, but she said that she does not have a deal from neither AEW or WWE. She's like, what gives, and I don't expect, and she's dedicated to be the #1. That's her goal is to be an American wrestling star. It really is.
And
which is
she can.
She will. I think that, it still is. I mean, why hasn't she gotten a deal yet? Well, it's not quite the right time, I don't think,
Yeah.
I don't see WWE bringing her in at all. Like Vince would not get her at all. He doesn't understand Japanese wrestlers for shit anyway.
Yeah. See Taka Michinoku.
See any example. I mean,
Shinsuke Nakamura.
Kairi Sane. Shall we go on? Yeah. But I think she'll get there eventually. So, that is at least, a possibility out there. Yeah, I talked about Bea Priestley. Yeah, Tyson Kidd actually had interesting words. He once again, he was asked about releasing the stars. Since we last reported that it was rumored that, or somebody had said that, the attitude to releasing wrestlers has been changing a little bit with the higher ups. They're talking about lightening the non-competes for certain people or everybody. And you hear a lot more people talk about wrestlers that have been gone. Shit, Tyler Breeze is still on up, down, down, which
still, yeah. Like, how's that going?
He just won one of their titles over the weekend.
Yeah, and he totally did the CM Punk thing. I know you don't like it, but he shows him with the title, but he put his face on CM Punk. Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know, whatever it is, but it feels like they're loosening the grip on the "you're dead to me now" a little bit too. So you hear a lot more people keep coming out and talking about people that, hey, it's a business that sucks, but these are people that I think is gonna be great. Tyson Kidd had an interesting quote, so he was talking about that. And, he said big fan of Aleister Murphy and Aleister Black, and they're going to be awesome somewhere. But he really focused in on two. And Tyson Kidd, if you don't know, actually does a lot of the production or producing for women's matches. He produced all the women's matches at WrestleMania. And he's actually basically the women's match producer for WWE. Take that with a grain of salt because we all know what their main product is right now. But
yeah.
But he does work with all the women pretty closely. He's married to Natalya. And he said that the two people he's most impressed was, for one, Ruby Riott, Ruby, who's now Ruby Soho. That, how great of a person she has, great attitude. Anywhere she goes is going to be great. And Lana. Lana always wants to get better. She'll ask every question in the book in a good way. She works hard, trains hard. And so, once again, I just think that, I was of the inclination, this may still happen, that Lana's going to move away from wrestling. But all the news that's come out from her lately indicates that this is legitimately what she wants to do. So,
which is pretty badass.
You tell me down in the comments or give us a tweet. What do you guys think? Lana going to be best to move on, do Hollywood stuff or whatever, or AEW, Impact, go back into wrestling? What do you guys see for Lana's future?
Because she has done the acting thing. Because she's been in a couple movies, or she's on a Cinemax show, and then she was an extra in Pitch Perfect.
Absolutely, and she started off as a dancer, so she was on. We'll see what happens.
Her J-Lo, she's gonna be the next J-Lo. You watch.
No doubt, yeah. I tend to think that she has more opportunity outside of wrestling, but if that's what she wants to do, she knows enough people. Her husband's in AEW. I mean, there's an in there, and they could use another recognizable female face. So, we'll see what happens.
I mean, I would hope that the man is the redeemer and God's favorite champion has some pull.
And he has kayfabed in a wife that exists. So
Yes, he
pulling
has.
her in is not a stretch. Okay, two last bits here, then we'll talk about Impact. Do you know the real reason Las Vegas was chosen for WWE SummerSlam?
No, not at all.
The real reason is Nick Khan.
Shocker.
Nick Khan apparently is from Vegas. Okay, well, that makes a lot of sense. And he wants to boost the local Vegas economy.
Oh, it's so nice
And-
of him.
Yeah, so this, and if you read this, you can read a quote of him talking about it, but it is not hidden well enough in here that you just want your hometown to do well is basically the answer. He gives this whole thing about how March Madness helped influence it because, paying close attention to March Madness because there was a thought that people might not be going back to Vegas because there was nothing to do to go back to. And once March Madness hit, the occupancy rate skyrocketed and blah, 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 just helped jumpstart the Vegas economy. Okay, great, yeah. If I had the power, sure, I'd let my hometown win out too. Whatever. So don't be surprised to see a lot more stuff in Vegas, which kind of fits WWE. So I'm good with it. And then lastly, before we get to Impact, I do have one last thing. Okay. Did you have any other bits of news you want to go over?
I did.
Okay. So my last bit of news, and I'll let you do your last bits.
Okay.
Samoa Joe recently did an interview with Out of Character. I don't know who they are. That's somebody else's podcast. But he did an interview with them, and he was asked some questions. And he was asked the question about who his favorite person to lock in the Coquina Clutch was. His answer was not surprising. His justification for it was great. His answer was AJ Styles.
Yes. Okay.
You saw this note too, I think. Okay. His reasoning was, in quote, AJ always has impeccably smelling conditioner in his hair. It was always very pleasant for me. I get a little lavender, a little lilac with my pain and agony. It's a rare thing. You don't get that combination, and you can't buy that in the street. It's a specialized and happy experience. I get enjoyed every time I wrap my arm around AJ's neck.
God, love him.
And he goes, you can't beat that. Sometimes the shea butter. I'm not a big fan of when he puts that in his hair. It doesn't have the same scent. But when he goes lavender or when he goes to the buy shop and gets the good stuff, trust me, it's a great night for me. When I'm driving home at night, I don't feel so bad about all the horrible things I did to the people I care about. It's the part of the whole ecosystem that I live in. God bless you, Samoa Joe. 2 axes and no problems. I loved it.
Oh man, that's
my news. All right, what
all
you
right.
got?
So mine's actually really brief. It's a of course shocker. New Japan. So New Japan officially has announced a title match. I don't know if it's gonna be the main event, but at least a title match for Resurgence in Los Angeles.
Okay.
So it was announced earlier that Jay White would put up against a top contender. Well, we now know who his top contender is. And it's none other than Finley's son, David Finley.
Dave Finley. Okay. So they're not going to be in the tag tournament they're doing in Vegas.
No. The never open weight championship match will be Jay White versus Dave Finley.
Well, I did hear, because there were rumblings about Finley going singles wrestling, and there was interest. I know some other parties, WWE, about signing him, and interesting. Okay, I wonder what that does for Juice Robinson then.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he could go solo. He's pretty damn good, or he picks up with somebody else. Juice,
or it's just a one-time thing. Who knows?
Yeah. So we'll see. But my last bit actually is. So Wednesday's AEW is going to be the Road Rager at Miami, right?
Right.
And
right.
they were going to do the casket match, and then they're not doing the casket match now. I do want to give props out to one of our subscribers on YouTube, Heather. She said on there it's probably because of everything that's going on in Miami. Well,
Yeah, and that right over my head.
I
didn't even think about
it. So did a little digging, and that, in fact, is correct. They felt like that was not a good thing to do in the current climate of Miami. So shout out to her. You rock. If we had T-shirts, we'd give you one, but we don't have T-shirts yet, so wait for that. Yet, keyword. But anyway, it's a big shout out. They decided that it was in poor taste of them. Another star for why AEW is superior, because they actually give a damn about where they're at.
Yeah. WWE would have, they do a little vignette before the show, but then still do whatever the fuck they want. So kudos to you, AEW, and kudos to Heather. Heather's in the running. She might be going with us to
78 weeks later.
Thank you. I couldn't think of that. I was like, it's something.
Dynamite
78
right
weeks
there.
later. I know. I'm just butchering it. Anywho, so awesome. Now let's talk about Impact.
Let's talk about some Impact. Okay? Yeah.
So Impact for this past week did not get a lot of viewers, apparently. And I don't know.
I was not one of them.
I want to see this week's numbers. I want to see it without this kind of side note, because I don't know if that's them just making an excuse or what. But this week was, once again, we're right in the build for Summerversary. We're 2 weeks away, so it's 2 weeks from Saturday. It's on the 17th. Wait a minute. It's a week from this coming Saturday. Excuse me. So it's the 17th. So it's coming up quick. So these next couple shows all set up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Starts off with Kojima versus Eddie Edwards, or it's supposed to. W. Morrissey comes on screen and says that he beat up, Eddie Edwards and whatever. Then you have, they're setting up Eddie Edwards and W. Morrissey for a thing.
Oh, of course.
Then you got Brian Myers come out and told Kojima to get out of the ring, and this and that, and it led to them beating, jumping him and Sam Beal, that is, who we'll see it 78 weeks later. And then Jake Something came out, tag match then ensued. Kojima and Jake Something won that. So we're laying out all these feuds, getting them all going. And you had Tennille Dashwood versus Rachel Ellering in a pretty good match. And Rachel ended up getting the win. Jazz was at ringside to kind of help, quell the Caleb interference, which always happens with the Tennille Dashwood match. And Rachel got the win. Afterwards, Caleb and Tennille then, jump her, and Jazz comes to help, and they beat up on Jazz. And here comes Jordan Grace for the save. And then afterwards, there's a little stare down between Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering. Rachel puts her hand out. Jordan slaps it away and then gives her a hug.
Aww.
So I don't think they're done with this. I still think that the angle is Jordan Grace just losing her shit and snapping. I really, truly do. But for now, they're buds again. They're back together. They're friends.
That's good.
Why not? I mean, you had then TJP and Fallah Bahh versus Rich Swann and Willie Mack, supposed to be a number one contender match to see who's going to, challenge Violent by Design. Violent by Design apparently doesn't like, one on, single matches, so because they come out and just jump everybody and beat everybody up.
Nice.
So that's got triple threat written all over it, right?
Yeah, sure does.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Chris Bay and then Petey Williams face off in an excellent match. The whole X Division thing, I've said a ton. This is my favorite part of all this. The people that are currently in the X Division title, these 6 people, plus you got the other, 8 really, because you got Shearer and Madman Fulton, who are the two, bodyguards, the two, heavies for Rohit Raju and Ace Austin. Love all of them. So ends up Chris Bay gets the win, and after the match, out comes Ace Austin and Madman Fulton and Rohit and Shearer, and they're beating up everybody. Then comes out, and the whole time the ongoing thing is that they're pick a side, and Chris Bay doesn't want to pick a side. He wants to play it in the middle. And Ace Austin and his group, they're like, well, that's good for us. We don't give a shit. Just stay out of our way. And so out comes Alexander, out comes Trey Miguel, and out comes, well, I guess Petey Williams is already out there, I guess. So they're trying to hold their own, but the numbers game gets to them. Chris Bay picks a side. He comes in. He helps out the good guys. So he's turning face-ish, I guess, but it's basically set up. It's interesting because it's a 6-man tag, or 6-man
Ultimate X.
Ultimate X. But you got the 2 other big guys there that are going to be out. They're going to be involved somehow in this match, right?
Yeah.
And now you've kind of got 4-on-4 face and heel. So that's a lot of bodies in an already insane match. It's gonna be so good. Like I will pay the $40 just for that match alone.
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie. Well, not just that match. Also, Sami Callihan and Kenny Omega is gonna be banger. But setting all that up, what they're also setting up is something that I'm happy about. So come back and they can do a bunch of promos, right? Lots of setup, all sorts of different backstage promos mixed throughout the whole show, right? This is the only one I really want to talk about because it goes back after this match, and you've got Susan and Kimberly, and it's kind of the camera around the corner, promo at the backstage where they, kind of cast up. And so they're over by by an elevator or whatever. They're talking, and they don't know what to do. What are they going to do with this? Nothing seems to be working. We can't get back on Dion's good graces. Blah blah blah. And Kimberton then says to Susan, "There's always the backup plan." Which Susan looks confused by, and she goes, "What do you mean?" And Kimber's like, "Sue Young." And Susan goes, "Who's that?"
Oh, perfect.
It's so good. It's so good.
Oh, that's
yes,
perfect.
And it ends the segment. So yeah, I thought that's going to be great. Steve Macklin made his second squash match in a row. He's turning into a beast of a man, as we knew. So there's that.
Yeah.
Then your main event was the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega versus Sami Callihan, Moose, and Chris Sabin. How are those three going to get along? Spoiler: they don't.
Shocker.
Moose basically gives a big FU to everybody during the whole match. Like he's playing this because him and Chris Sabin have a match at Slammiversary.
Yeah.
So after the match starts, the Sabin starts, he goes over and just chops Moose for his tag in. And the two of them, that's how the match it starts that way. And it just keeps escalating and escalating to the point where Moose finally, he keeps here comes a hot tag, and he moves to the side. He does all the things, and then he finally said F it and leaves. And as he's walking out, Tommy Dreamer's behind him trying to yell at him, talk sense. Here comes the right hand of God, Don Callis, who, by the way, was wearing the AAA Mega Championship.
Of course he was.
On the way into the ring. He was, because Kenny was wearing the Impact World Championship. That meant that Big Doc Gallows had to wear the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And Anderson was left, and he had to wear the AEW. They all wore Kenny's belts to the ring.
Oh my God, that's so good.
It's so good. But Don Callis pushes Tommy Dreamer into Moose and then runs away. So Moose then levels Tommy Dreamer, which, yeah. So he's the big bad. At the end of the day, of course, numbers get him. Kenny Omega, Good Brothers win. But the moral story is that Moose don't like anybody.
Nor should he.
And it's interesting to see what happens. I honestly don't know if they're going to pull the belt off of Kenny Omega simply because... if these numbers are to be believed, the whole 69,000, they say there's a thing with it. But if their numbers are this, you would think they'd want to keep Kenny Omega in the fray.
Yeah, for viewers.
But then again, he main evented this show, and it was their lowest rating in God knows how long now. 4th of July, pre-4th of July week, summer, NBA finals starting, the Stanley Cup finals are going. I don't want to speculate, but we'll see what happens. I want to see Sammy take it. I think it's better for the brand not to have, you can have some interpromotion, but have your champion, though, continuously be somebody from another spot. For a hot minute, that's cool. But we're going on a couple months now since he got that from Rich Swann, right? Mm-hmm. I think it's time. So,
I have to say, I think the AEW one goes before that one. And the AEW
I do
one's going
too.
all out.
And therein lies my other thought on that. It's okay, so we've been of the assumption that he's going to lose it all out to Hangman Adam Page. We've been saying that for months, right? Mm-hmm. So we think that's going to happen. Are you going to say in a matter of 2 months he's going to lose that one and the Impact, and presumably the TNA too, although that technically was never outlined. So he still could be involved. He could drop the Impact title and still technically be kind of involved because the TNA title, when Moose had it, it was retconned into be an actual definitive title in Impact. So he could still be the TNA title. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. And then he might lose the AAA to
He might lose
Andrade.
AAA to Andrade in September or October or whatever it is.
He could go
so you're talking in a
from
few months
no
that
belts.
Kenny Omega might lose all his belts.
That would be awesome.
I think it's more likely he would lose none of them than all of them.
I think it would make for great storytelling if he lost all of them.
It would be so good because, yes, you could see him and Don Callis, you could see them just going insane, and it would be a fantastic thing to watch.
Yeah, he would blame Don Callis, and it'd be the end of that.
Or they go on just a tear of anarchy, and it'd just be, I don't know. I think it'd be fantastic. I don't know, though. Something in my gut tells me that he would not want to see that happen, though.
Yeah, I think if anything, he'll lose one of them.
He'll lose. I think he will lose one of them. And if I had to pick, I would say AEW.
Yeah, it's Hangman's time.
As much as that pains me to say, because I think Sammy, I love me some Sammy Callahan. And you've already got everything built up. I mean, you got Sammy and Moose feuding as it is. I don't know. You guys let us know. Give us a comment. Give us a tweet. What do you think about Kenny Omega? Is he going to lose a belt, no belts, all belts? What do you think?
Right.
All right. I had one more thing I want to talk about tonight.
Okay. Oh, before we get there, I forgot one little piece since we were talking about Adam Hangman.
Oh, you
Page.
go ahead. You go.
Made me think
You
of
go
this.
right ahead then.
So Adam Hangman
No.
Page's part, well, not technically a part, but kind of a part of
it's a part.
the Dark Order, right? Well, on Being the Elite, they've been officially kicked off of Being the Elite because they were too over.
They're too over, and the Young Bucks didn't like that they were more over than them.
Yeah. So they are no longer on BTE, and they're looking for a new home on YouTube. And I would cordially like to officially invite them to our podcast. They can just be on, do their segment, and then we can do the rest of our stuff. I don't even care.
Total Dark Order. Yeah,
Total Dark
we'll
Order.
do it.
Let's do it.
Total Dark Order. Sure, it's on. Yes,
Dark Fest.
We're gonna do
Total
it.
Dark Fest. Let's go.
Total Dark Fest. There we go. Join the Dark Fest. All right. Well, you guys are more than welcome. I'm gonna make new graphics tonight, so that's what we're gonna do.
Yes.
Now I like that. Speaking of things that I like, okay. Yesterday we recorded this on Monday, so I'm saying I saw it earlier tonight, but yesterday, Monday, July 5th, was a very special day. Not because it was the observance of Independence Day, which meant a lot of us got off of work, but it was an anniversary. Yes. My best friend Matt got married 13 years ago. Besides that, it was the other anniversary. 5 years ago from yesterday was, in my opinion, one of the best wrestling things that had ever happened. One of the things I would take with me to the desert island, if you remember the Impossible game we played a little bit ago, is the 5-year anniversary of Final Deletion.
Delete. Oh my God, that was so great. That was by far the best one.
It was. I mean, yeah, because shortly after that you had Tag Team Apocalypto, and then they had the one they did in what did they call the one from WWE?
It was
Ultimate Deletion.
It was the Ultimate Deletion.
That Ultimate Deletion,
Yeah.
and then he did one in AEW against Sammy, and it was called something else.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. Anyway, but the first one's always the best, right? It's not necessarily an Empire or a Godfather moment going on here. The first one definitely was the best. Second one was pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay? And the third one was okay. Fourth one was okay. But the first one was when this came out, Impact, it was fully Impact by now. TNA was now completely cut off from it. It was fully Impact. They got past their whole thing because they had a hot spell there where they were going through with what was it, Global World? What, I don't even remember what the name of it was, but it was like a secondary promotion that Jeff Jarrett had made after he left. They had anyway, so they had all this stuff going on. And this was like right before, I think this was either at the beginning or right shortly before Anthem bought them. It was around the time, I can't remember where Billy Corgan figured into all this too, but they were in a bad spot as a promotion. They were, not drawing very well, which is ironic considering the numbers from this past week. But they were drawing even worse than that. They were on like some weird secondary third market travel channel, if I remember. It was
bad. Yeah.
They were not in a good spot. We said, Jamie and me both, especially me, giant TNA fanboys back in like early 2000s when they were hitting their stride, pre-Hogan. It was good stuff. Even that first year after Hogan, before they really, it was a far fall from grace. And because of that, they basically gave Hardy carte blanche. They're like, fuck it, whatever. Do whatever the hell you want. We don't even care. So that's where he went off on this whole broken character.
Yeah.
He kept growing it and growing it and growing it. He's feuding with his brother. His brother can't figure out what's wrong with him. Culminated in this. And I had gotten away from watching Impact. I know. Were you watching it at all back then?
No, I was not at all.
I was vaguely familiar with kind of what was going on, but not really. And this came out, and I just saw it on the internets, and it's like, you have to watch this. No, seriously, you have to watch this. Mm-hmm. So I did. And oh my God. It was the most ridiculous yet most glorious thing I think I'd ever seen in my life. It was so bad it was good, and so good it was just brought me to tears at times. Dilapidated boats. And
did everything.
Lake of Reincarnation, and we've seen Senor Benjamin, but he really played a key role. The Hardy compound as a whole, there was demons and resurrections, and Hardy Jeff Hardy tried to do a swanton from a tree onto a ring, missed and clipped a ladder. It was just ridiculous stuff, and it swept through the wrestling world. I remember Ziggler was quoted on somebody a while ago was saying, they were asked about that. He said, when it came out, I remember we were in the back ring, and I saw it, and I could not believe it. So I was showing everybody. I tracked down, I saw Cena in the corner. I told John, you have to watch this. He goes, I don't know if I really, no, watch this. He came back to me and says, I watched it 20 times. I cannot believe that. That is it's either the worst or the best thing I've ever seen in my life. And that's kind of how I felt with it. What were your thoughts when you saw the final deletion the first time?
Oh, man.
First dozen times, whatever.
First time I saw it, I thought it was over the top.
Yeah. Now I don't remember. Did I tell you to watch it, or did you stumble upon it on your own?
I think you saw it, and then I watched it maybe a week later, and then you told me you need to watch it. I was like, dude, I just watched it. Yeah. And I think by then I was on watch 4, because I still remember the first time. It reminds me a lot of Super Troopers in this aspect. To go with me here.
Okay.
Because the first time I watched Super Troopers, I thought it was just dumb. I'm like,
honest to God, I was the exact same way. I'm not going to lie. I was. One of my favorite movies of all time. Yes. I felt the same way.
I'm like, this is just not good. I'm like, what? And then I watched it again. I'm like, okay, it's pretty funny. And then I watched it again, and I'm like, "Oh my God, this is hilarious!" And then after that, I'm like, "This is one of the funniest movies ever. It's clever."
And now we're going to quote it nonstop.
Yeah.
Yes,
all the time.
Exact same.
So
Here.
I felt like this was the wrestling version of it for me, because the first time I watched it, I was like, "What the hell am I watching?" Like, it felt like a car crash. You had to watch it, and then it's like, and afterwards, I'm like, "Did I like that?" I legit had that
was that good or not?
Yeah, then I had to watch it again. I'm like, okay, I liked what they did there. Oh, that's subtle, and I love the subtleties. Okay, then I watched it again. I'm like, oh, I really love Senior Benjamin and I love the botch that they kept in there, and just everything. And then after that, it's like, it's a masterpiece. It is perfect. It's perfection. Lightning in a bottle. It'll never be recaptured, unfortunately. It is just perfect,
and it's great you say that, because you can't recapture that. He had carte blanche. Like I said, there was complete creative freedom. Like, Like they really didn't give a shit at that time. They were so low on money and ratings. They were like, whatever, you just do whatever you want and send us the tape. We'll put it on TV.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. And so this is 1,000% Hardy. He paid for all this. He wrote it, did it all, directed it, edited it. I mean, it was all him and Rebbe, all of them. And you could tell. You could tell in later versions too, when they started to get, but to my knowledge, and I was trying to think about this when I saw that, was this the first cinematic match? Because I don't remember cinematic matches being a thing really when I was growing up.
This created cinematic matches.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to say that statement, but I didn't know if that was 100% correct. That's why I wanted to check with you.
Dude, even if it's not, it is, because there wasn't one before.
Just redefine it.
Yeah.
If there were cinematic matches, you think of like, the closest we probably got to them was stuff like, Stone Cold and Booker T in the grocery store, stuff like that,
Yeah, that was the closest to a cinematic match.
But an actual cinematic match, which now WWE have gone like way past, with the Boneyard match with AJ and Taker and all these. Although there have been hits, there definitely have been hits. The Firefly Funhouse match
with Cena,
and Bray Wyatt.
Great.
It was unbelievable. There also have been big misses, like we said. Pretty much all the other ones WWE's tried to do.
Mm-hmm.
But cinematic match is now a thing, and we've seen them in the first. I was going to say the
first match in AEW.
I was going to say that was great. The first Stadium Stampede, Stadium Stampede and a half, let's say, because half of the second one was the same thing. But the first Stadium Stampede was unbelievable. Sting's first match in AEW was great as a cinematic.
Mm-hmm.
So, positive or negative, cinematic matches being a thing?
Just because
I think everyone's reaching for that moment that they didn't know the final deletion would actually get.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Like, I don't know if you can get to that point ever again. The Darby Allin Sting versus Team Taz was great. I loved everything about it. I thought it was very well done. But was it final deletion? Absolutely not. Not even in the realm.
Even the first Stadium Stampede, which had Broken Matt in it.
Yeah. Damascus.
It was great. I loved it. I loved it to death. I mean, 100 yards of Northern Light suplexes with an excessive celebration penalty at the end.
Yes.
I mean, there's so many good things about it. I mean, come on. Jericho putting a cone on his head and giggling like a schoolgirl, and the bar fights, and yes, but was it final deletion? Not quite. It was great, not quite. The Boneyard match. Was it good? No. Was it the worst thing ever?
No.
Nah, I actually wasn't. It wasn't, but it's not the final deletion. So
I don't know. Is if they just know what they are and not try to strive for that, they might hit it. Actually, it's one of those things like, oh, we gotta be just as good as final deletion. And if you think like that, and it won't be, it will never be. But if you think, hey, like, let's just make this great, and it will. I think that's what they did. Honestly, I think AEW did that with their stuff. I think they did not try to go final deletion. They just tried to make what they had, their product, really good for that. And if they keep that course and not try to WWE it, where WWE is always trying to one-up themselves for no reason.
Right. They're trying to hit a bar, and they're trying to hit that bar of the final deletion got all this and created all these. We got to hit that because that's what we should be able to do that too. We'll do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here is really my take on it, and then we'll wrap up here because I think it's good. I think that it gives you an outlet to do stuff and be more creative. Like, for example, like Darby Allin apparently produced a lot of the Sting and him and Sting's match. Mm-hmm. And you see kind of his creative parts in it. People like the Bucks and, others who are creative. You see their stuff in it there. Wyatt had a hand in a lot of the ones that he has done. You get to see his stuff in it. Although that one with the Fiend and Bray and Braun Strowman was utter garbage.
That's the
You
worst by far.
That is by far the worst. But I think that it's one of those like everything comes better in portions thing, So it's like if you're doing a little bit of it, if you go full time going into the cinematics, you lose what wrestling is. But I think it can add to it. All right. Well, you guys let us know. What were your thoughts when you saw the final deletion the first time and then the fifth time? Because you need to watch it. But what were your thoughts when it first came out? What are your thoughts of it now? Do you agree with us that it's the masterpiece that it is, or do you think it's the worst thing that's ever happened to wrestling? Some people generally still do, Dave Metzger. Some people generally still think it is. He loathes it. He thought it was the stupidest thing on earth. Whatever.
Yeah.
If you're not, I'm not getting on a Metzger tangent here, but give us a comment or give us a tweet. Let us know what your thoughts are. Cinematic matches, final deletion, good, bad. Do you like them? Do you hate them? What was a good one? What was your favorite one? Let us know.
So, fun fact too, because you're doing this day in history of wrestling. You know what also happened? Actually, it happened on the 4th.
Okay, 2 days ago.
Yes.
I do not know what happened
In
on the 4th.
1987. NWA Great American Bash introduced one of the probably greatest gimmick matches of all time.
That was the first War Games. Was on 4th of July.
War Games. War Games.
Oh yeah, I didn't know it was on 4th of July though.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's also the same time that Yokozuna got body slammed by Lex Luger in 1993.
I do remember that happening.
Yes, on
Damn near broke his back.
Yeah, on the USS Intrepid, and that was actually when Yokozuna was absolutely at his heaviest. They billed him at 627 pounds.
I mean, unless Luger was roided up madman back then, but that's a big hunk of beef to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the original War Games, man, 87. I think the first one was in Jacksonville, wasn't it, or was it in the Omni?
It was at the Omni.
Is it the Omni? Okay. And then the second one was the one that was in Jacksonville, I think.
Correct.
In 88.
88.
The second one is generally regarded as the best of the classic ones. Although the first one, they were trying to iron out some kinks. And then that second year, they really nailed it. But if it wasn't for that very first one, in the heart of the NWA territory, right there, downtown Atlanta, right by CNN Center at the Omni.
Yep.
Oh my God!
And the whole idea of I don't know if you knew this, but the whole idea of War Games was they were 100% trying to cash in on Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome of the 2-man enter, 1-man leave inside the cage. So that's why they did 2 teams enter, 1 team leave. It was the tagline for it.
Yep. And that's why it has the weird rules, which is what used in Blood and Guts, and which is used kind of in the War Games we have now, where eventually, once everybody gets in, that's when the match starts.
Yeah.
And those first couple ones were just brutal because they didn't know what they were doing with it, and they were just like, I can't remember where I saw it. It might have been, I think it was back when it's probably on Peacock now. WWE Network had a thing where they were talking about the history of War Games, and they had Flair and Arn and Tully, and because it was the 4 Horsemen versus the faces basically.
Yeah. So the very first match, here you go, was the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal, Nikita Koloff,
Nikita Koloff,
yep, the American Dream, Death the Roads, baby. And
son of a preacher man.
And Paul Ellering defeated the 4 Horsemen of Ric Flair, Art Anderson, Lex Luger, Tully Blanchard, and J.J. Dillon.
Yep. Oh, so good. And I remember that and they were talking about it because it was like, there's only 4 horsemen. There was 5 of them they were feuding with, so they threw Dillon in there in the middle of the ring. They're like, you're in it now. You can do it with us. Okay, guys. It was a great documentary too. I can't remember WWE, their old stuff. They put on some good documentaries.
Yes.
But yes, they said they were just trying. They didn't know what to do. They made up this match and they're trying to figure out how to do it. But that's why the second one was considered to be like such a good one. I talk about it that way. Mm-hmm. Some people prefer the originals. I know, but yeah, 4th of July. I didn't know it was 4th of July. I knew it was Great American Bash, but I didn't know it was on the 4th of July that year. Yeah. How about that?
Crazy, huh?
Oh, crazy stuff. So, I guess it's now a thing we're doing this day in wrestling history, apparently. So
I like it.
That's cool. Another little segment for us. So that's what we got for today, guys. So thank you for joining us. We do appreciate it. Like we said, the Journey Pro ticket contest still going on. Information is down in the description down below. If you're listening, just go to our YouTube, watch the video. Go to video 43. Same thing. It's got the information down below in the little description box about what to do. We will announce that on next Tuesday's podcast. We will announce the winner. So you still got a week to get in on that. Plenty of time. But next Tuesday, we will announce the winner to our giveaway. We will be back this Thursday talking about AEW. We'll give you some updates on Impact Wrestling as it happens as well this week. It's Great American Bash tonight. So a couple titles on the line. I know. Speaking of Great American Bash, amazing how that works out. I don't know what's going on. My mic's falling down on me here. So I got this new arm, and it's like I keep turning the screw, but I don't think it ever gets tight. So
I think you're just too fidgety for it.
I'm a fidgety person. I'm a hand talker, and yes. So
Yeah.
Thursday, we're going to talk about Great American Bash. We'll talk about AEW. AEW's first show back on the road. Who's ready for it?
I am.
These guys are. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for giving. Like I said, leave a comment down below. Give us a shout out on Twitter at Total Spot Fest if you want to give us a holler. If not, we'll see you next time. Jamie, take us out.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down with Total Spot Fest, I only got one word for you. Delete.
Thank you, guys.
Peace.